So in this video, I'm going to show you 6 tips that you can use to run Google Ads with a small budget. So if you're new to this channel, my name is Dan. I'm the owner of Focus Your Ads. I've been running Google Ads since about 2018. And right now, this is my only thing. This is my full-time gig. I do Google Ads full-time. I run it. I'm in the trenches, just like you guys, and I'm here to give you my insights on what we do to improve our ads. So let's dive into the first tip. So this first tip here is about narrowing our focus when it comes to our location. So you can narrow the focus. You can actually pick different postal codes or zip codes, and you can actually focus just on those areas. You can actually set a radius, which is my favorite way to do this with a local business. But if I was running Google Ads with a small business and I had a limited budget to run Google Ads, I'd want to set my location with a radius, and I'd maybe it's only 10 kilometers or 10 miles, and then I can look at expanding out further once I have a bigger budget. But I want to start small and then expand later, because those people are more likely to come to my business. You can also add in negatives. So if there's a certain spot that you don't want to add, you don't want to include, because maybe it's actually a detour for people. Maybe they have to go across a highway and there's a huge pile of traffic and it's just a pain, and people often don't go that way. You can actually put a negative location bid on that area and prevent it from showing. And you can do this again at the zip code, at the postal code level, and prevent that from showing up. So that's really handy. You can't do that with a radius, but you can do that, the negatives, with postal codes and zip codes. So it usually gives you enough flexibility to exclude some areas. And if you're more of a national business, you can exclude different states or exclude different provinces to make sure that you're focusing in on the ones that are going to be profitable for you. So tip number 2 is probably my favorite tip, and that is to narrow the focus of your keywords. So I want you to ensure that you have really focused keywords. There's no extra keywords in there that kind of like, oh, that could work for us. No, you want to have keywords that are going to work for you. So pick stuff that makes sense for your business. And this could be, like I always use, plumbing. So it could be emergency plumber in my area, or emergency plumber near me, emergency plumber Chicago. Terms like that are going to get a customer to buy. These are low in the funnel, so you're more likely to get a result quickly from those. Higher funnel stuff is great, but it's not for when you're first starting out. You want to go after that low funnel traffic, so you can start to build your business with this low funnel traffic before reaching out to higher funnel traffic or expanding out to all these other keywords. So keep it focused. Even if you only have 2-3 keywords, it doesn't matter. Just keep a really narrow focus. And speaking of that, go into your search terms and now use your negatives to focus things even further, because even if you set an exact match keyword, it doesn't mean you're only going to get that search. So go into your negatives, make sure that you're not getting like Joe's Plumbing, so it's a different company. You want to make sure that you're only getting stuff that makes sense for your business and exclude everything else. Start getting rid of it, and you can get rid of things with a negative keyword. This kind of a pro tip would be to add a negative as a broad match or phrase match. So if you don't understand that, you can take a look at my other videos. I do have one on negative keyword match types, but that is a really handy way to prevent yourself from seeing like Joe's Plumbing. If you do broad match negative Joe, you're never going to see Joe again in your search terms. So it's a really handy way to prevent wasted spend from getting into your ads. So the third tip here would be to cut down when you're scheduling your ads to run. Because if you're running ads at midnight and you're not available to take a call at midnight, it's not going to convert into a phone call for you. Yes, it's a good idea to have ads running at midnight if you have the budget to do it, because there's people that are going to look and then eventually come and see your business during the day. But if you want to get the highest return from your ads, which you're going to want to do if you have a small budget, you're going to want to focus during the hours that you're actually running your business. So that way you can answer the phone, that way you can respond to the forms quickly. So this is going to give you the best return for your money that you're spending. So the same thing could apply to the days of the week. So if you're only running from Monday to Friday with your business, then you could turn off the weekend and ensure that you're not spending anything on the weekends, and that's going to condense your spend. So you can spend more during those working hours and hopefully get more business from that. So tip number 4 is to start with a smaller budget, because if you're a smaller business and you can't afford to put a ton of money into Google Ads, then you should start with something small. Don't kill yourself, don't kill your business just to put money into Google Ads because, hey, we need to spend money to make money. You have to start somewhere, so start with a small budget, and once you get some results, you can then start to increase it. If you start with a big budget, you're going to have a lot of wasted spend right up front because you're going to add some extra keywords in, you're going to add some extra, you're not going to have your negatives in place, so you're going to get a lot of wasted spend right up front. So you want to start somewhere smaller and work your way up. So as soon as you start to get results, that's when you scale up. That's when you start to spend more money. So start small and then start to increase that spend once you start seeing the results. So tip number 5 is probably one of my favorite tips here, which is that you need to track conversions. You have to track your conversions. You have to set something up. You have to be tracking if it's form fills, if it's phone calls, you need to have that tracking, because if you get to the point where you want to switch over to automated bidding, maybe you're on manual bidding right now, or maybe you just started out with automated bidding right off the start, you need to have those conversions in place. Even for manual bidding, you should have conversions in place so you know where to optimize, what bids are working for you, what keywords you should turn off, what ones you should keep. This is going to allow you to take that small budget and start to get it to become more and more efficient. You need to have this thing running very efficiently with a small budget, and that way it's going to allow you to then start to scale this up and actually increase your budget. So get those conversions in place, and if you don't know how to set up conversions, I do have a video on that as well. I'll link that above and you can take a look at that video. But setting up conversions is a super important thing to do, so make sure you get on that and get your conversions set up and tracking properly. And tip number 6 is to actually go into your demographics and your audiences, and you can start to cut out different demographics, which would be like ages or different household incomes. There's a lot you can do in demographics, but be careful because there's certain restrictions that Google applies due to privacy and different things like that. So one of those could be around housing. I believe they have this restriction on. There's a few areas that have these restrictions. So if you're kind of in one of those sensitive areas, then just make sure that you know the rules around this, but you can actually turn off different age groups. So if you know someone between 18 and 25 never converts in Google Ads for you, then you could turn that off and you can just target the people that are older than that. Or if you know that maybe people over 65 never convert and they shouldn't see your ad at all, then you could turn that off and you can start focusing in on the people that do convert. So there's a lot you can do in demographics. Just be very, very careful about this and only do it if you really know that it's true. If you're not sure, then just let the data tell you if it's going to be true or not. So if you're running a small budget in Google Ads, then likely you want to squeeze as much out of your ads as possible. And that's why I've created this next video about split testing, where it's going to show you how to test your ads against one another. And that's super important when it comes to Google Ads. And right now with Google Ads, it's very hard to split test, and I found a method that I like to do, and I want to show you that in this video. So take a look, and I will see you in that video. Take care.